What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy DJ coming at you. Little update on the Grom. Haven't done a video on it in a while. I have upgraded my tires. Yes, finally. I went with Kenda Big Blocks dual sport tires for my Grom. That was the plan all along. So let me get you guys to look at what the tires look like close up. Look at the blocks on them bad boys. Yep. Front and back, of course. Oh yeah, all-terrain tires on my 2015 Honda Grom. What else did I do recently? Also recently, I upgraded my, well, not really upgraded, I changed out the sprockets. The original sprocket, front sprocket on the Grom is 15. I went with 14. And then I stuck with the original stock 34 tooth sprocket in the back. Okay, just so some of you know that may not know, when you change your sprocket, it's going to affect your speedometer, of course. Now my Grom is like 4 miles an hour slower than what it normally is. So the speedometer will say that I'm doing 57, doing a little bit less than that, 53. So 53, 54. But usually it's right at 4 miles an hour slower. The benefits to going to a 13 tooth sprocket over the stock is you got quicker acceleration, you got more torque, which is great for off-roading. So I really like it like this, actually. Even though I suffer a little bit from top end speed, it's no big deal. Let me turn my bike off real quick. I lose some top end, that's okay, because I like to have the torque to get off the line, and also for doing off-road. I would even like to try out a 12 on a Grom, but I wouldn't do that unless I was doing constant off-roading. You know what I'm saying? That'd be nice to have that torque. Plus, you got the mechanical advantage of having that small wheel in the back, so that really, gives you a lot of torque off the line on a small bike like this. What else can I say about the Grom? Did the sprockets finally? Now, what the crazy part is, I got 11,000 miles on this bike, 11,600 something miles on the bike. And I changed the tires about 3 weeks ago. And that's from the stock tires. I had the stock tires on this bike all that time. All that time, the stock tires were on my Grom. The front stock tire was like in mint condition, believe it or not. Very little wear, seemingly on the front, but the back was a slick on the Grom. So yes, you can have your tires last up to 11,000 miles. At least mine did. The back was slick. I mean, I could still ride it, but just letting you know that tires do have some longevity to them. So I'm hoping I can let these tires here last me, at least the rear. I'm not worried about the front. At least a year and a half, 2 years. I have more than one bike, so it probably will last longer. But I do ride the Grom the most. That's my favorite bike out of the bikes that I have. I even have a WR250R, which is nice. But I like the mini bike. The lightweight, the simplicity of having a lightweight bike is really awesome. It does really good as far as economy-wise. Off-road does great. So I would tell anybody, this definitely is a bike to get if you want something small and economical. These bikes are so cheap. I cannot believe how cheap you can get a Grom, especially used. Like if you go on Facebook Marketplace, you see these bikes all day long, $2,500, $2,300, and they're worth every dime. They're worth to me more than what the people are selling them for. I know it sounds stupid, but I think when you can purchase a vehicle and travel all over the United States on that vehicle, I think that's just awesome. And they're so, like I said, very economical. It costs you a couple bucks to fill up the tank. Now, they'll tell you the Grom gets what, about 100 miles a gallon, something like that. I don't know about that. I'm gonna have to do a accurate range test on this bike. But when you're doing high speeds, you ain't gonna get 100 anything miles an hour. That sucker will suck down that gas when you're doing 55, even 60 mile an hour. And the Grom will do 60 mile an hour, by the way. I purchased my Grom back in Florida. Brand new. And after I got it broke in a few months, did some speed runs on it. Like I'd go to Daytona Beach. I lived in Jacksonville, Florida. I go to Daytona Beach, and I go to Daytona Beach on my Grom, and I could sustain, that's like an hour and a half drive, hour and 15-minute drive. I could sustain over 60 miles an hour for over an hour. I'd be going between 62, anywhere from 61 to 63 miles an hour. I even hit 64 for half a second. So the Grom is capable of doing 60 plus miles an hour stock. Only thing I've done, I haven't really, well, I've done a few things other than to modify the bike. And I'd recommend anybody do this if you're over 180 pounds. I upgraded the suspension. Yes, I upgraded the suspension. I have on the front forks the Olin spring kit. That's right. And on the rear, I've got the YSS rear shock, which adjustable shock. I think the suspension is the most important upgrade you can do to this bike. And it feels like a real motorcycle as opposed to the way it was, because stock, the Grom will dive a lot. I don't know why Honda even did that, because I have to give the Z125 props. I've never ridden one, but I hear good remarks about the suspension, that you don't have to worry about upgrading. But the Grom, man, that cost me like $650, $700. You know, the kit was like, I think, $2 something. Then they had a couple $100, $180 to have a guy install it on the front forks, and then the rear shock I did myself, of course. But yeah, I mean, and it's a need if you're 200 plus pounds, even 180 plus pounds. So that's a necessary upgrade. You know, I didn't do it to be